We are here today to commemorate the passing of Captain John Jude Lahr, and the date today is 8 June 2023. We are in the Socialist Republic of Vietnam, and we're here with both civilians and veterans of the United States military. We will have a roll call, and we will particularly call this the last roll call. I will call your name, and I will start with saying that we are today in the presence of David Hipple, Joshua Burns, Rebecca McGee, Phil Webster, Jim Pomeroy, and Tom Nguyen. When your name is called, please respond in the affirmative. Lieutenant Steve Maxman.
Present.
Specialist Ryan Miller.
Present.
Private Sarah Tapia.
Present.
Captain John Jude Lahr. Captain John Jude Lahr. Captain John Jude Lahr. Captain John Jude Lahr passed away on 14 May 2023. I would ask Captain Lahr's friend at this time, Mr. Jim Pomeroy, to say a few words.
Thank you, Dr. Milam. So I met Jude Lahr, it would have been 2 years ago in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where he retired after 30 years in the U.S. Navy. And I met him on a very special occasion. He allowed me into his home to celebrate Thanksgiving with him and breaking bread with him and talking about the stories of his time as a pilot over Vietnam, and telling him what I did and where I came from and what Texas Tech does. Could have made him happy. So I just wanted to do this, and I appreciate all of you being here because I think it means a lot to him, his memory, as well as the Gordons, who are great family friends of mine. Sarah foremost among them, but her parents and her siblings as well. And I just wanted to read briefly, what he did and really the mountain of a man that he was. And I can't do it in my words alone, so I'll read from his obituary briefly. On Sunday, May 14, 2023, Golden Eagles Emeritus Captain John Jude Lahr, U.S. Navy retired, made his last takeoff in Roanoke, Virginia. Jude was born in St. Cloud, Minnesota on 1 July 1931. He grew up in St. Cloud, attended Cathedral Catholic High School and St. John's Catholic University in Collegeville, Minnesota. Jude joined the Navy in November 1953 and received his Wings of Gold on 15 July 1955. After flying the SNJ, T-28 Trojan, and A-4 Sky Raiders, his first fleet assignment in August 1955 was to the VA-15 Valiants at NAS Cecil Field, Florida, and aboard the USS Forrestal, flying the AD-6 until February of 1958. Jude then joined the active reserves, flying the SNB at NAS Minneapolis until October 1959. Jude's Vietnam service, however, began in December of 1965 when USS Enterprise arrived off South Vietnam. As the first nuclear-powered ship to engage in combat, Enterprise aircraft dropped 151 tons of bombs and rockets on the enemy supply lines on December 1, 1965. On 3 December, Enterprise set a record of 165 strike sorties in a single day. Jude Lahr led from the front and inspired the same and others as one of the very early combat Shrike anti-radar missile pilots, developing, testing, and refining Iron Hand tactics that would be shared across naval aviation. Jude returned to NAS Linmore in June 1966, where the squadron transitioned to the A-4E and completed turnaround training with the USS Hancock and CBW-5, returning to the Navy Station in July 1967. He was the first 200 mission combat pilot on Hancock, continuing his leadership by example on a second combat deployment and returned stateside in July of 1967. Upon retiring from the Navy in 1983, Jude had completed 6,680 flight hours in 15 different jet and propeller and rotary wing naval aircraft, logged 810 carrier-arrested landings, and made 2 Vietnam combat cruises during some of the early and heaviest fighting of the Vietnam War. He received 4 Distinguished Flying Crosses, 23 Air Medals, commanded 2 attack squadrons, and had 3 back-to-back flying commands as captain. Jude served 27 of his 30-year career in the cockpit. Retiring in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Jude lived out the remainder of his life with immense pride for his naval service. He enjoyed having a martini in the evenings with friends and family, while watching his beloved Minnesota Vikings and Minnesota Twins. His last year of his life was spent in Roanoke, Virginia, close to family. Jude is survived by his daughter, Christina, Chris, Gordon, her husband, Dave, their children, John, Katie, and Sarah, and son, Jay Lahr, his wife, Sandra, and their children, Desiree and Michael. In the words of a combat shipmate, Jude was the consummate warrior. He was also a wonderful husband, father, and friend who will be sorely missed by many. And I think it's appropriate that all of us here studying Vietnam, being in Vietnam, recognizing the passing of such an accomplished Vietnam veteran meant a lot, and I appreciate all of you for agreeing to do this and being a part of it. I'm sure the Gordons will be pleased as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Jim. I would ask in your own way that we pause for a